Hey guys, it's me, Dax Moy from fitnessmarketingmadesimple.com. I'm back with another in the series of the 4 ways to grow your fitness business kind of article series, if you will, video series. In this one, we're going to speak about how to actually increase the number of transactions. Okay, so the first one we were talking about how to increase the value of your transactions. I was talking about quite simply this idea that putting up your fees, certainly if you feel that you justify them, which I think most people would do, putting up your fees is an important part of the process. Most personal trainers are being paid far too little for the work that they're doing. But we also need to be really, really careful and make sure that we're being honest about that. Are we delivering a great standard of work? Do we really deserve more money? Not just because Joe Schmo down the street is getting more money than you, but because you actually really believe that you're worth it. So that was the first thing. And I remember I highlighted the idea that even if 10% of your client base leave you because you've pissed them off a little bit because you've put your prices up, you've now got the same amount of money because you've put your fees up by 10%, but plus you've also got space in your diary for either doing the work on your business or for getting more clients who are willing to pay you your best fees. Okay, so that was number one. Number two then is looking at increasing the number of transactions that you're involved in. And I say transaction because kind of, the transaction could be anything. It could be the appointment itself. It could be the number of attendees at a boot camp. It could be the number of, if you own your own studio, it might be the number of protein shakes that you sell after you work. I'm not pro. I'm not against any of these things. I'm quite simply saying that whatever it is that you currently sell, I'm certain that you can sell more of them. Okay, and the way you go about selling more of them, again, and doing this ethically rather than just thinking, okay, I've got a sales quota. So many of these clubs, they put together sales quotas, right? And they give their guys a whole bunch of crap that if you don't meet your quota, you're not going to get this bonus, or you won't get a certain amount of leave this year, or we'll fire you, right? Well, let's get rid of all of that because that's just complete bullshit, right? You don't want to be making a single penny from your fitness business from people that don't want to give the money to you. Every single penny that lands in your bank account wants to be given with, a happy face and an open heart. And if you can't get it that way, then you really don't want it. Okay, I've been that guy in the past who kind of did the whole, I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to chase these figures. It's a horrible place to end up in. Okay, luckily I found out before it was too late and I came back, but it's not a very nice place to go. So there's a way to ethically do this, and the way to ethically do it is really quite simple. You ask yourself this really simple question: what is the best service that I could give to this client? Okay, not what do I think they'll pay for. Whenever you put yourself in a position of saying, well, I think my clients will only pay this, or I think this person will only pay that, you're doing that person a real injustice, right? A real injustice. Let the person have their own voice. Let them use their own mind. Okay, don't make the decisions for them. That's not coaching. That's not doing the best possible job. The best possible job is that when Mrs. Jones sits in front of you and she says, okay, this is really what I want to achieve and I'd like to achieve it in this time frame, is not for you to say, well, I best not say how many times a week I really think she needs to come here because it might scare her off from the whole joining up with me thing. Your job is to actually say to her, well, look, Mrs. Jones, I think given what you've told me you're trying to achieve, given how long you've set aside for making this happen, really, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe that you should be coming here 3 times a week. Okay? And or more, or whatever it is for your package. I'm just giving you an example of this. And the reason I'm using 3 times a week is because so many trainers automatically sell 2 times a week just as a matter of course. There's no, it's basically an arbitrary figure. It's just thrown out there and you think, and be honest about this. You know why you're selling 2 sessions a week, because you think you can get it. You're terrified of the idea of saying to a client, I really think you should do 3 times a week, even if you really believe that. So here's the thing, if you don't tell them what you really believe they should do to get the very best results, you're not doing your job as a coach. So tell them. So this is what I really think you should do. Now, and give them the opportunity to say, look, I hear you, I would really love to do 3 sessions a week, but my budget only stretches to 2. You say, that's okay, I completely get it, and that's the case for a lot of our clients. Okay, we can do it in 2, but just understand that the result maybe isn't going to come as quick as you've stated that you'd like to. Okay, because think of it this way, it's like a time intensity curve, right? So you look across here, if a person wants the result really quickly, I want it now. You have to put a lot of effort in. Okay, if a person says, and that effort might also be financial effort, okay? So, okay, there's going to be a lot of money spent in quite a short space of time because you want it quickly. Mary says, but I don't really want to spend as much money as that. You go, okay, you don't have to. The actual intensity of her efforts comes down, including finances, but now the duration has to go up. Okay, because it can't be both. You can't say, okay, we're going to do it, you know, really, really cheap for you, really, really fast, and still get you the exact same result. That's not realistic. That's not how it's going to happen. Think of it just in terms of training. If I want to lose 10 pounds this week, then I have to hammer in a lot of work into my body, and I have to change my nutrition quite dramatically this week. Okay? If I just want to lose 10 pounds, but I'm thinking, shit, I don't want to do all of that stuff, then I can take 2 weeks to get there, and I don't have to take as much of an intensive approach. It's your job to tell Mary the truth. Okay? Mary, Mrs. Jones, right? Whoever your client is, it's your job to tell them the truth. Okay, because let them make the decision, and that way they'll always be happy with the journey they're on. Maybe they're getting the results slightly slower than they'd hoped, but they're getting it on their terms. They're saying, I knew this when I signed up for this, that it wasn't going to be quite as quick as I thought because I don't have the budget to do it as frequently as I hoped. Doesn't mean you can't give them great homework sessions and all the rest of it. All that's a given, right? I'm not talking about holding anything back from them. Give them everything you could possibly give them, but I'm certain you'll agree that kind of more contact hours with you with certain types of clients will be much more beneficial. Maybe they need a lot more support, maybe they need a lot more instruction, a lot more hand holding, right? Maybe they just need someone to have some belief in them a bit more regularly. If you don't offer them that, then you're doing them a disservice. Okay? So, you know, you can ethically increase the number of transactions that go through your business just by doing that. I mean, that in itself will make a big difference, by just not bottling out of offering people the very best service that you've got to offer. Put them back in the driving seat. Then you could also look at other things like, okay, you know, would it be beneficial to them to once a month have a coaching session with you instead of a personal training session, or as well as a personal training session? Would it be beneficial to once a month have a therapy session, you know, an actual massage therapy session to break things down? If they've got, I'm not arbitrarily saying, you know, pick a random service and try and sell that to everyone, not like a lot of these marketing guys do. Some of your clients don't need all that sort of stuff. Some of your clients definitely don't need a protein shake, and they don't need this and they don't need that. So don't sell it to them. Okay, but if in your heart of hearts you know that person will be better served if they had this piece of equipment or if they had this experience when they come to you, then serve it. Increase the number of transactions of that particular type. And you're well on your way to actually making a big impact, not only on the life of the client and their result, but a big impact upon your business as well. Because now you're moving away from being just a trainer, just a salesperson, to being their most trusted advisor, right? They know they're never going to get bullshit off you. You're always going to tell them exactly what they need to get the result. And that's really, I think, who most of us want to be. That's why most of us got into this profession. Okay, so look, there's a couple of ideas for you. You know, in part 3 we'll talk about another element. I won't kind of give it all away now. Part 3 we'll talk about another element, which will, again, when added to parts 1 and part 2 of this series, will again exponentially, or has the potential to exponentially rise the income in your business, which means that you've got a lot more money in your pocket. Okay, if you've got a lot more money in your pocket, you can actually live a bit more life rather than just being at work all the time. And to me, that's really, really important. I love the idea that people are passionate about personal training. I think that's great, and I think that's a given. We really should be. Okay, but we all need a life outside of this work as well. Okay, so these are just some ways for you to do that, which means that when you come into work, you're going to be working at the highest quality with the people that can most benefit from your services, rather than feeling burnt out and knackered all the time. Okay, so it's been me, Dax Moy, from Fitness Marketing Made Simple. Another mad rambling. Take care.